centuries, it's been like having a guilty secret that you can't hide. Perhaps 40% of Brazilians have slave blood running in their veins. And because of their dark skin, most are condemned to poverty. Africa is only now just starting to lap at the shores of Brazil. The sound of African drums once terrified Brazil's Portuguese masters. The drums and capoeira, a martial art the slaves brought with them from Africa, seemed to bode rebellion. The Portuguese outlawed capoeira, so to keep the spirit of descent alive, the slaves transformed it from martial art to dance. From Black Ghetto to international tourist destination, the area called Pelourinho has been transformed in little more than 3 years. A huge success, perhaps. But to make way for the tourists, the black inhabitants for whom Pelourinho was home were forced to move out of sight, out of mind.
The government of this country, normally they are white, and they don't care about black people, about black situation. You know, they do everything, you know, to say that there is no racism in this country, and also there is democracy as well. But what we can see all the time is a lack of democracy here.
Though slavery was abolished 107 years ago, Brazil's power and wealth is still concentrated in the hands of the fair-skinned, while for the most part, blacks go on serving white masters just as their ancestors did. Today, there are signs that some black children are learning to take pride in their colour and their ancestry.
You've got here what looks to be a racial harmony. Everybody arrives and sees blacks and whites walking down the street together and thinks it's all wonderful. But the control is there. It's not in the law, but everyone kind of knows the social controls.
Soy Carlos Rosero, miembro del equipo de coordinación nacional del proceso de comunidades negras y de la Conferencia Nacional Afrocolombiana. Hay un número significativo de afrocolombianos. Nosotros creemos que somos el 10%, el 26% del total de la población del país, que equivale a 10,5 millones de personas, aunque el censo del año 2005 dijo que de manera oficial somos el 10,5% de todos los colombianos, que serían 4,400,000 personas. A pesar de eso, nosotros estamos ubicados en todas las regiones del país, en especial en la costa del Caribe, en la costa del Pacífico, en el Valle del Magdalena, en el Valle del Cauca, en el Valle del Patía, y con una presencia significativa en las grandes ciudades del país, en especial en la ciudad de Cali y en varias ciudades intermedias, algunas de ellas en el corredor del Pacífico colombiano. Los afrocolombianos somos descendientes de los esclavos introducidos a Colombia a partir del siglo XVI. La esclavitud terminó en Colombia en 1851. El 21 de mayo, pero solo fue vigente a partir del 1 de enero de 1851.
El Museo de la Raíz Africana cumplió 10 años ahora en mayo. Es parte del Instituto de Cultura Puertorriqueña. Se abrió por la necesidad que había de trabajar, ¿verdad?, la importancia de la cultura africana en la formación de nuestra sociedad puertorriqueña. Uno de los lugares que más tarde se abolió la esclavitud fue en Puerto Rico y en Cuba, porque como éramos las últimas dos colonias españolas en las Américas, pues se retrasó el proceso. En la mayoría de los países latinoamericanos, pues la esclavitud y la lucha de independencia iban de la mano. Es de 1871 y corresponde a un niño de 10 años, donde básicamente era de la región de Recibo y describe, ¿verdad?, como tal, como era el niño, para una venta de esclavos. Uno de los mayores de los puntos donde más hubo esclavos fue en el siglo XVIII y no es hasta el 1873 que se termina la esclavitud. Hay comentarios racistas, por ejemplo, un ejemplo, que si alguna persona negra le dice, pues tienes que casarte con una blanca, ¿verdad?, para que mejore la raza, y ese tipo de comentarios. Entonces, pues si quizás le pregunta a esa persona que dice ese comentario, pues tú eres racista. Pues no, yo. Entonces se da ese juego bien ambiguo, que entonces es más difícil de identificar el racismo, y si no se puede identificar un problema, pues no lo puede, ¿verdad?, resolver.
The northwest city of Esmeraldas is the heart of Ecuador's black community. At the Quilombo slum, most haven't heard the propaganda music, but the word has spread around and everyone is furious.
I'm outraged. What they did isn't politics, it's racism.
Since blacks arrived in Ecuador from West Africa in the 16th century, they have done the hardest jobs. A government study in 2003 said that over 92% of blacks do not have access to basic services. Ingrid Orejuela says racist slurs against Afro-Ecuadorians are common.
When you walk around, you hear, "There goes the thief, the drug addict." Not all blacks are bad. We are decent, working people.
Afro-Ecuadorians make up 1/10 of the population, and in this impoverished nation, they are among the poorest.
So Afro-Ecuadorians feel that Ecuador is a very racist country, and they feel that they don't have enough opportunities for development. It is a coastal town that has been cut off from the main economic center, so people are forced to have their own small businesses, and many live on less than $2 a day.
Children here play with a stick instead of a bat. In the communities built for sugarcane cutters and their families, called batés, baseball is more than a sport. It's a ticket out of impoverishment for a very lucky few. 17-year-old Ángel Luis Joffé was almost one of them. A year ago, a talent scout from an American Major League team offered him a $350,000 contract. A dream come true for this son of a Haitian cane cutter. Until he went to obtain a copy of his birth certificate for a passport.
The registry office told me I was the son of a foreigner, of a Haitian, and that they couldn't give me any documents, even though my parents came here 30 years ago and I was born and raised here in the Dominican Republic. I had to break the contract. Now I've been offered a new one with another major league team, but they still refuse to recognize my birthright.
Since new laws aimed at curbing illegal migration were introduced 2 years ago, thousands of first-generation Dominicans are unable to work, study or travel because authorities in charge of issuing documents no longer recognize them as citizens, even though the Constitution does.
They despise us because we're black. But we aren't Haitians, we're Dominicans. Our children want to prosper, but they won't give us the papers.
Discrimination against Haitian guest workers and their children goes back to the days of former dictator Rafael Trujillo. In 1937, almost 40,000 Haitians were massacred in a campaign to whiten the Dominican Republic's mixed-blood population. But still, Haitians cross the border daily into the Dominican Republic to find work.
The biggest irony is that almost everyone in this country has an ancestor that came here from Africa as a slave to cut sugarcane, like this.
But it's an ancestry that many would just as soon forget.
Anyone who is very black is discriminated against in this society that admires lighter skin and straight, soft hair. Do you know what they call me? Rubia. A blonde.
It's not a black and white matter. In the Dominican Republic, it's all about shade. The lighter, the sweeter the sound. The darker, the tougher the prospects, no matter how hard you go to bat, especially if, like Angel Luis, your parents come from Haiti. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, San Pedro de Macorís, Dominican Republic.